That's your cue, Meredith.
And we're live. Welcome to Actually Just Ragin. It is a special evening episode and probably not for the faint of heart. I am planning on calling out a couple of people, and there's a good reason for it, a very good reason. Let's just say this may be educational for a couple of people. And on that note, we've got an intro.
Raging.
Hello, everybody. Hey, Nita, how you doing tonight?
All right, Meredith, how are you?
I'm doing good. I had a couple of days to kind of soak on the things that I wanted to talk about today. It's not really going to be a fun region
It
tonight.
is not.
It
It's
is
going to be
not.
very serious.
It is going to be very serious, and it was because something that was brought to my attention, and it started off very professionally. But it was a matter of a little citation, a little credit where credit was due. And what came back at me was patronizing, disrespectful, and rude. And I'm like, wait a minute. You're featuring my stuff, buddy. My stuff. Not only my stuff, but crediting somebody else for the work of others. And that's not cool
No,
at
it is
all.
not.
So I do have a couple of guests here. C. Michael Lanning, who happens to be the artist in question here. We are going to watch the video. I do have a copy of that. Varian Grant is here as well because we were talking in the background, and is kind of bending his ear a little bit, and so I appreciate him for being here as well. But stay tuned as I play the video, and maybe you'll see what I'm talking about. Here we go.
So I'm super happy to kick off Follow Brilliance Fridays with one of my good friends, a very brilliant and talented artist named Mike Seeley. He's actually like family. You follow him at Mike MJS Art. This guy has been drawing ever since I was a kid. He's actually the very reason why I draw to this day. He was the inspiration for me to actually pick up a pen because even when we were younger, he would draw different comics. He would draw Gambit and the X-Men, and he had collectibles and figurines, and he kind of like stirred up that artistic part of me to make me want to take my art to another level. So I think it's very fitting that the first episode of Follow Brilliance Friday start off with him and introducing his company, Continuum Comics, which you can find at continuumcomics.com. And also follow him on Instagram, follow his comic page, and follow his artist page. He's a very brilliant artist. I have seen him do amazing things with art, and I'm looking forward to see what he does next. Follow Brilliance Friday is something that we wanted to do to give back to the community and shed light on all the brilliant creators and people that are pushing the culture forward in our neighborhoods and the people that we know in our communities. If we don't support each other, who will? Stay driven.
Okay, all in all, it was a wonderful presentation. Brilliance Friday, I believe, can be a very good thing. However, the art that was featured on the last half of that video does not belong to Mike Seeley.
Right.
It belongs to C. Michael Lanning, who is here. Now, C, when you saw that video and you saw the overlay of somebody else's information, their social media links and things overlaid on top of your art, what did that feel like?
Especially when you consider that you don't even see the credits to the art at all whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
And not to mention the fact that, in all honesty, despite what he might have had to do with Continuum Comics at all, he had nothing to do with Reapers. Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
He had nothing to do with the art. He had nothing to do with the storytelling. He had nothing to do with the editing. And the fact is that you put his name over my art. Why he has 2 stories in that book. Why would you not feature those stories? Because you said that you were highlighting him.
Yes.
So,
Highlighting Michael Seeley.
right.
Who,
So
and to reiterate, because I have the copy here, which, by the way, I am the editor on. I have the credit in the back of the book, as well as Nita. Okay? I am a founding member of this company. I am no longer a part of the company. We have since parted ways, but understand that I am a founder. My name is all over this book. Not only
Yep.
that, but the art that was featured is my story. Okay? So I approached Tree Life professionally. And this is what I said. Hold on. I've got screenshots for you guys. And here we go. Hello, Tree Life. I hope this finds you well, and I really like what you're doing with Brilliance Friday to highlight creators. However, in your June 11th post, from 48 seconds through the end of your video, you were highlighting C. Michael Lanning's art for our story, Reapers. C and I also did Karma within that book. The end of your video suggests that Mike Seeley did the art for that story, so I hope that you will give credit where it's due. Thank you. So let me just pull this down for a second. Okay. So I hope you will give credit where it's due. Not once did I say, redo your video, man. Not once did I say, take it down. All he had to do was wherever he shared the video was put Reapers art by C. Michael Lanning. I wasn't even asking for credit because, quite frankly, it's only 6 pages long, and he showed 4 pages of it, of my words, which I don't even have to go there. But he published it without permission. So that's another point. But let's get back to the art. Okay. Hey, Meredith, it is nice to meet you. I was showing that I purchased the comic Mike was promoting. I do not know all those involved in the process and would love to highlight you all. However, I didn't know anyone but Mike and wanted to do something to help stimulate sales for... Hold on. Stimulate sales for only Mike, but to all those involved. At 36 seconds, I mentioned how this piece was a highlight to him and his company, which I am aware he has partners. So I showed his art first, then highlighted the comic at the end. So yes, he did in fact highlight Mike Seeley's art from Instagram, but when he turned to the page, it was Reapers. It was not Mike Seeley's art. And I said, okay, I totally understand the messaging, but the video clearly states how you were inspired by Mike's art. He is an awesome artist with great credits, but perhaps you could have flipped to the pages with his art and stories, Eclipse and Wolf. And then he responds, perhaps I could have, but instead I started at the beginning and looked through it all. I can't redo it now. I never thought trying to promote people out of the kindness of my heart would end up causing problems. Well, it's not the kindness of your heart when you're promoting somebody else's work and putting somebody else's name on it. But let's continue. I'm sure when people buy the comic, they will read the credits and know who did what. Now, C. Michael, did you have a comment?
Well, no, I'm just understanding you saying that you highlighted everybody in that book, but you only put Mike Seeley's Instagram up there,
Right.
and
And
the
only
comments
your
like,
art out of the book.
and only
Right.
my art out of the
There
book,
was
and you
not
say,
one other story out of the book was shown.
so how are you highlighting everybody if you just put one person's info up there? Even if it's not up there, why isn't it in the comments?
Right.
Why isn't it in the info? Why it looks devious, what it is.
Mhm. And so I responded, it's not a problem if you give proper credit for the art that was highlighted in your video. Again, did I ask him to redo his video?
No.
No, I asked for a citation. With all due respect, Meredith, it was just a feature on him, and I wanted to highlight him, our history, his story with artistry, mark that. And the comic book company that he's part of. Yeah, I'm a part of it too. At least I was.
Yeah.
I am a founder. Yes, and so was Nita. I'm aware that he will be featuring other creatives in the future. In fact, that is what the Continuum does. It is an anthology. So when people collectively work on something, it is just that. I never said he drew everything in the comic book. No, you didn't have to. To tell me how to read a comic book and how to present something that was a team effort is an insult not only to me, but to any fan of the comic who can clearly read the credits on the comic. I wish you the best in your career moving forward. So somebody explain to me, what is that?
Well, it says his story artistry. Well, if you were explaining and highlighting his story artistry, why is 50% of the art shown
In the video.
my husband's IP?
Right. So, I mean, he could have really gone through and found Eclipse.
He very well could have.
He could have flipped through the book because he did
Or
say
very
he read
easily.
it from cover to cover. However, his video only highlights
Reapers.
Well, I just think it's funny. He said something about anybody could read the credits. Well, obviously you didn't.
Right.
Because
Or he would have
you
seen
would
that.
have gave him credit.
You would have given him credit. So we'll talk about proper citation in a bit. Hey, Varian.
Late to the party. I'm sorry.
So here we go. So it continues. So you are clearly telling me that you will not give C. Michael Lanning, the artist, respect that he deserves? I clearly had a simple request to add my artist's name and featuring my story. With all due respect, I can make videos too, and I will make this right if I must. Good luck with your endeavors. With you endeavors. Okay, I had to misspell it. Editor.
The editor.
I know. So, yeah, I tried to maintain a professional courtesy here. And he comes back with, make your videos then, Meredith. I have no disregard to C. Michael Lanning, but you did, because you didn't even want to put his name in the highlights. I'm not saying make another video. I meant put it in the credits on the side, you know?
Yep.
I mean, you hit the edit button and you add C. Michael Lanning, you tag him because that's his art. And by the way, Tree Life would love to speak to you. See, I don't know if he wants to now. But nobody is going to tell me how to show gratitude and how to read a comic. I don't appreciate your attitude, nor the way you approached me about this. I hope C. Michael Lanning does not share your air of entitlement.
Hair
Well,
entitlement? What's in hair?
No, I'm sorry. C. Michael only shares his ears with me.
Mm-hmm.
But no, but here's the deal.
I
If
mean-
you said that you would love to speak with me, it is not hard to find me. I'm on Facebook.
Mm.
You have
As
not
what?
contacted me at all.
C. Michael
As C. Michael
Lanning. Oh my God.
So
Hey, guess who knows how to get in touch with me?
Everyone.
Mike Seeley.
Yep. There you go.
And so we continue. If it were me, I would be glad someone showed love and bought something I had part in, not sending them a message saying, change a video that has already been put out and
No
was
one said
done.
change a video.
I didn't say change the video. But we continue.
But well, if you don't mind, I'd like to go to this air of entitlement thing.
Mm-hmm.
You mean to tell me that when you do something, you're not entitled to the credit of doing it?
Right. Right.
Well, I mean, apparently he didn't know that I was the writer either.
But even still,
If he would have read the fucking credits, he'd have known who all was part of that.
But I have this air of entitlement, and I demanded that he change the video. No. Did you read that in any of my texts?
No, ma'am.
No.
We just wanted C. Michael's name put in there because he's sitting there. A simple tag in the post would have worked, or we would have been happy with acknowledgement in the header before the video. Any kind of acknowledgement that put Chris's name anywhere in there,
And
to give him credit. But no, you fucking throw Seeley's information over his art, not once, but twice in the fucking video, overlapping his work.
but see, this could
That
also
is
be
theft.
excusable. It was Russ Leach's cover, which is,
Yes.
I would like to point that out for one. But even if you had put it over the cover, it's almost more excusable that way because Seeley's art is featured on the cover somewhere.
Right.
It is indeed.
And to say that, but you didn't do
He's
that.
got-
You waited till you opened it up, and you came. Not only that,
Eclipse
you cut away and then
and
you came
Wolf.
back.
Yeah.
You cut away and came back. You cut away and came back, and you stayed there. And not only that, you also stayed on. I don't know as far as entitlement is concerned, but I do know about IPs and things like that. And the fact that you stayed on something that somebody could read, quite easily have gotten that whole story. Shows right now that you don't have a concern for whether or not somebody's getting ripped off or not.
Right.
I don't want to speak into Meredith's finish with the screenshot she has. Because I admittedly found out about this a little bit later than everybody else. I was late to the party. So, but are you finished with those, Meredith? You have any more?
I've got more.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
A little bit more reading here. So he had good intentions, everything, okay? That of which even you can't be ignorant of now if you wish to respond to my love with your hate. That is on you, not me. It's not like I am CNN or Channel 7 News. So to me, this is ridiculous. Yes, it is ridiculous that I even have to do this. You can't possibly expect me to take out more time and repost a video that, mind you, shared 95% of Mike's work.
Nope.
No, sir.
Somebody's
it
bad
did
at
not.
maths.
Yeah. You shared 95% of Mike's work solely to put in a blurb about the few seconds of clip I showed while enjoying the entire comic for the first time. Then repost it and promote it as I took out time to do already. Oh, thank you. Thank you. If C. Michael Lanning wants to be featured, I would love to do his own story and get to know him so that it actually makes sense. I am open to talk with him if he is interested. In fact, you did highlight C. Michael Lanning's work. Thank you. And I finally ended up with, no one asked you to change your video. I simply asked you to acknowledge C. Michael Lanning, which featured C. Michael Lanning's art in about 50% of your video. Have a great day. And I really didn't hear anything about him from him or anything like that. But apparently I have real estate in this guy's head.
Yes,
I
you
do.
do, ma'am.
I do.
Meredith,
Because
Century 21.
Because today he wrote, if Will Smith does a movie and is featured on a late night TV show to highlight his performance in a film, that is not a slight to the rest of the cast and crew who participated in the group effort. It is a boost for the entire cast who will all benefit off of the promotion of that film. If you represent an artist, did you? Did you, Tree Life? That artist does not belong to you. You are a part of that artist's business team. Indeed. What I'm trying to say is entitlement, there's that word again, will get you nowhere. We as humans play a team sport, whether we know it or not, which may be the very reason some of us are currently losing. Do not let your ego get in the way of your success. We are all created in the image of the Creator, and the brilliance is all of ours to access. If you act in lack, you should expect it back. Brilliance stays driven. I have real estate in this guy's head. But
Yes,
I don't
you
know
do.
where my entitlement is. My entitlement is that
You
C.
wrote
Michael
a
Lanning
fucking
and
story.
We co-created that story, which was featured in about half of that video.
Hell,
So-
I have more entitlement to that fucking story than Mike Seeley.
So
I'm in the credits.
Well, to that though, if you, as far as a late night show is concerned, and Will Smith goes on there, and they show a clip, and it's actually Robert De Niro, and they put Will Smith over it. They don't do that either.
Mhm.
So I mean, they don't show Will Smith. They don't show a Robert De Niro clip to highlight Will Smith's acting.
That was a really
ability.
Well,
piss
you
poor
don't-
analogy.
well, you
Is
know
it?
what?
No,
You don't bring out a
yeah.
band. You don't introduce a band and then play somebody else's music behind him.
Right.
Okay. You don't take someone's picture and overlay it with somebody else's contact information. I'm sorry, but my story, C. Michael Lanning's art, is not public domain.
Great.
It's not stock image. What you did was wrong. It is, in fact, IP theft.
Absolutely.
Okay? And you do not feature an artist and highlight someone else's art behind it without giving proper credit. Now, Varian.
Yeah.
I'm done reading. I'm done with story time.
All right. I get to come at this from two pretty unique angles. One as an artist, and the other as starting a media empire that is winning, constantly winning. Winning so much I don't know how to lose. But the thing is, with Indie Vault, I'll start there first. From the media aspect, which Tree Life says he was, from what you read, he's trying to push people. And I listened to the video and he said that, he's trying to push people from the community. Now, I would wonder, because he said from the community, did he mean especially African American creators? Because then he said, I'll speak with C. Michael, and I'm not sure if C. Michael is in that. I have to see his dancing ability first, but I don't know if he would fit. But the thing is, in all seriousness, I don't know if when I started Indie Vault, I went and got a lot of books on journalism, on media presentation, what to do, what not to do, a lot of mistakes you can make. It was about a good 6 months worth of reading before I even launched Indie Vault. I didn't say, I want a website. That's not how that works. You need to do some research, because there's a lot of nuance to this. You stomp on the wrong toe and you realize it belongs to a giant.
Right.
You don't want to do that. And so that's I can appreciate what he's trying to do. I think everyone here says they appreciate what he's doing. That's not the problem.
Way to do it.
Now, as an artist, and especially as an African American artist, there is there is a independent African American artist. There's a lack of publicity out there, especially when you're doing indie comics. I think that's across the board, no matter what color you are. But if you're an indie artist, there's a lack of people that they're going to push you, they're going to publicize you and whatnot. So just as crucial as getting his name out there, or getting the name of Mr. Seeley out there, it was also crucial to see Michael to have his name out there as well if you put it in the video. So it doesn't, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. You cannot just claim, hey, I'm doing this. And so it works that way. I could understand him not wanting. Look, once I do a video, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it over. I don't. You weren't asking that. You were asking for a citation.
That's it.
Just a little note. Art from the comic is by this person, wrote by this person. I don't think you didn't even reach. You didn't ask for credit for yourself. You just want to make sure that C was credited in there, and I can appreciate that. And I'm pretty sure that I think that I'm wondering if Tree Life was just feeling like, was he having a rough day? Was he just feeling attacked?
If he was feeling attacked, then he needs to grow a pair of balls, because Meredith approached him very professionally, very politely, and only asked for acknowledgement, not
even for my story.
Not even for her story, but just because the focus was on the art. That was what the guy said this focus was on, to acknowledge the actual artist of the art you were showing.
Now if it's me, I'd want C. Michael Lanning credited if the video was about me. I'm like, oh, the art you showed at the end of the package, the vignette, that wasn't my art. That was someone else's. Could you please credit that person? Because I understand as an artist how important it is to make sure that man is credited.
Right, because you're a respectful man in the industry who knows how things are supposed to be done.
It's just
and that was part of my problem, is that Mike Seeley had a little bit of a humble brag. It's like, thank you. You know what? That's fine. I accept that because somebody went out of their way to make a really nice video. They really did. I am giving props for that. However, he could have said, dude, that's not my art.
Right.
But he didn't.
And I think also he gets kind of sold short too, also because that none of the art that they showed was any of his sequential art.
Yeah, none of
it. Comic book art. So in all honesty, he also gets the short. I don't think he even realizes that he gets the short end of the stick because they didn't show his stuff in there.
They didn't show his stuff in there. And here's the other problem with that. Okay, you're highlighting somebody else's art, and now there potentially this could reach a lot of people who are looking for artists, and they're going to see that video. They're going to see Michael Lanning's art, and they're going to contact Mike Seeley, who does a totally different art style. Mm-hmm. It is not fair to either one, because not only does C. Michael Lanning lose an opportunity to get commissioned work, Mike Seeley might be commissioned for stuff he doesn't do.
Right.
Okay? That's important. So when you're highlighting somebody else's work, okay, and again, it is not public domain. It is not stock image. Okay? So if you're going to highlight somebody, you should really make sure that you do your due diligence and give the people who are involved credit.
Right.
You made a great video. Unfortunately, you used the wrong art. It would be like me saying, hey, I wrote this story. I wrote this story, and it's a great story. You should be there. I did this. Oh shit, that's not my story. Hold on a second. But wait, my name's on the book, so it must be my story. No, it doesn't work that way.
No.
I mean, you just have, the thing is, he did say it was the first one. So, it's not like you have a history of, where you have an opportunity to course correct and say, okay, I realize that first one was, I need to fix that. I can go back and I can add this man's name. Because I recognize in this, it's funny. I hear people say all the time, they use this word, you guys know my history with it, community. Where the fuck is the community? This man's been doing wrong. This man, C. Michael Lanning's been doing wrong. Where the fuck is this community at? Oh, that's right. Shh, because it doesn't affect them. See,
right.
It doesn't affect them. It only affects them when someone's shitting in their yard.
That's right.
Okay, so let's get the person who's shitting in the yard and say, hey, pick up your dog shit. Make this right. Come on, community. Where are you? All of these people who talk about a community in indie comics. Where in the fuck are you? I'm calling you out right now. Where are you? You're quiet. You're crickets. That's what you are. And you're cowards. You're cowards because where are you? You're not there. You're
right.
Prove me wrong.
Because the person in your camp is the one doing the wrong and is benefiting from the wrong. And you're not going to say anything.
It's just not going to speak out against your own if it's beneficial to them.
Because you can also say, listen, I made a mistake. I'll fix this, and that's fine. I made a mistake. I'll fix it, and that's getting and you move on. But I'm just talking about people not saying shit because this is how it starts. There's one little infraction, then there's another one, and they just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and then.
And the next thing you know, they're putting their names on entire books that they didn't even write. It's progressive.
And in my experience with this experience here, okay, I reached out professionally. And professional courtesy.
Yes.
That's all I was asking for. I didn't ask for a change. I didn't even ask for credit for my own stuff, even though my stuff is clearly there. Okay. Even though I am part of that book, very much involved in that book. And then to be patronized, to be insulted, that is not how you approach it.
He was ugly.
You could have taken a minute, first of all, to see what the heck was going on, what I was talking about,
Yes.
and maybe seen it from a different perspective. But you didn't. And so instead of professional courtesy, you made it a personal attack.
Yep.
And then said I was entitled. Yeah, I'm entitled to proper credit for the creations that I have put out, as well as C. Michael Lanning, as well as anybody who's out there who's had their images swiped, their music swiped, anything, their words. It means something. Okay. And if we can't protect our own properties, and if we can't go out there and ask for proper credit, then what the hell are we doing?
Right.
It's the Wild West. That cannot be, because that, at the end of the day, is potential money out of my pocket.
Well, it's. Oh, go ahead, see. I just want to.
Well, no, this was what struck me when I read the statement that he had put on his site yesterday or today. Do not let your ego get in the way of your success. I can't have success if I can't be able to claim credit for what I've done.
Right.
Do not think anybody out there claiming credit for something that you have done is not an egotistical thing. I'm not saying it's fantastic art. I'm not saying it's great art. I'm not being egotistical. It's the greatest art in the world. That's ego. But credit, how am I going to succeed if this constantly keeps happening and I never get credit for something like this?
Right. Right.
Yeah.
But, again, the journalism part is so, like, people don't recognize that I've studied journalism for a while. I've studied how media empires run. I've got books. I mean, I've took a lot of time. I didn't start Indie Vault in a bubble. I decided to research as much as I could. So when people are telling me about stuff, you can't do it, you have to understand that there is a that there are legalities. He said legalities. There are things in place that I have figured out long ago. So that's why it's so dangerous to start these things and not know how to properly do publicity or these little nuances. Because, like, I'm gonna tell you guys a quick story. I got in trouble years ago. I did a comic convention, and I had a word of mouth agreement that a person was going to come to the show. They said they'd be there, and I said great, and I took them at their word. Well, I went to that person's Facebook, grabbed the picture, put it on a flyer, had 5,000 flyers printed, took those flyers around to any comic book store I could, put them up college campuses, and I got a threatening email from that person saying, "Hey, I didn't agree to come to this show." I said, "Yeah, you did. Remember, I got the email and everything." And then, well, even if I did, I didn't tell you to use that picture. Remove that photo now. Mm-hmm. Imagine my ass going from campus to campus, trying to find those flyers and remove them, as many as I possibly could. And I had to get the flyers reprinted, personal cost to me. The person, didn't want to show up to the show after that. There are so many legalities when it's involved with this art stuff. But again, I didn't just start this stuff, this Indie Vote or anything, and like I don't know anything. I think Meredith and Nita are constantly, my wife is constantly surprised about how much shit I know. I don't talk about, that I can do. So there are things that when you're no one's gonna tell you don't push, don't publicize, don't publicity out there on people. Don't do that. Everyone appreciates that, but just know that you could be hurting someone else by doing something good. Like the road to hell is paved with good intentions. You're doing the right thing, and I applaud him for it. Mm-hmm. It's just the manner in which you're doing it could be, and this whole thing is about making friends, maintaining friendship. That's what it's about. At least if you're not going to, like, the last part of that conversation took a horrible turn. And
Yes,
it
it
could
did.
have been steered like, why are you trying to make enemies with someone who could be a valuable asset in the
Absolutely.
future? It almost seemed as if he had a preconceived notion about Meredith in a way.
Exactly.
I would wonder about that.
I do wonder
But
about that.
but you know, I can't speculate on that. I'm just saying, you know, like where did the turn come from? I mean, she like you said, she was very polite. I would have responded. I mean, I've seen Meredith mad. She's been mad at me a few times, so I know that it wasn't, you know, angry Meredith that we're getting.
Right.
She was professional Meredith, and that's fine. You know, again, like you guys asked me to be on, and I was, you know, somewhat aware of what was going on, but you know, see, that is unfortunate.
Well,
Go ahead.
the dude wanted to highlight Sealy and Sealy's company. Okay. But
Perfectly fine.
and that's perfectly fine and great. But what he actually ended up doing was, like he said, a disservice not only to Sealy, but a disservice to Continuum Comics. Because the correct artist was not given credit.
And even if you tagged us
And
in
it
it,
looks
if you had tagged me in it, that also opens up your audience to even more to see
Right.
what you have done. But you did, but instead of thinking about it that way, you immediately felt like you had to be defensive, and you being defensive automatically sends red flags for me. It's like, why are you being
Right.
defensive about it? Why? This is if you had tagged a proper artist in it, more people would have been able to see Mike Sealy other than just the echo chamber.
Right.
But
Yeah, I think that I think the other thing is, you know, again, from just not being in the industry, people think, oh, well, you're going to buy the book anyway, and then you'll be able to see the credits and everything will be worked out that way. And I get that, but I wish that was the way it works, but it just doesn't, because we see time and time again on stuff like DA, someone uses someone's art as a reference, and that artist says, hey, that's my pose. You trace that. Could I at least get after? Could you at least put, you know, Varian Grant after C. Michael Lanning? Could you at least do that, please? That's really my work. I worked hard on that. Mm-hmm. So I mean, the credit is so important in our industry, so important. I mean, even I think when you get to the mainstream, it's important. Yeah. It becomes, you know.
Yeah.
And then the comment, the cockiness of the "you don't own the artist" type, that smugness. What did he? What?
I don't understand that one.
Yeah, like
because we weren't part of a team. You know, it was the team. It was a group of teams,
right,
that did each story. Meredith and I were a team, and Jeremy Kahn, who did the coloring on that, were a team, and for Reapers, we were a team for that, and we submitted that book to be part of their book. Mm-hmm. That's just how it is. It wasn't. I wasn't part of a Continuum team. I was part of the Reapers team that contributed a book.
Well, being a complete outsider, I understand.
Yes, because C. Michael was not a part of Continuum Comics. He had a part in Enter the Continuum, their first anthology.
Well, let's talk about how, real quick, this is remedy to Meredith. I mean, because we talk about, you know, what the problem is. We never really talk about how we can remedy a situation. What's the solution? Let's be in the solutions business. What's the solution? What's the key? How do we told him.
My very first comment to Tree Life was, give him some credit. Give the man some credit. And Luke Stone even said it earlier today. And I don't even need, quite honestly, okay, and this is transparency, okay? I shared a private conversation that was not public. I could have totally put that on his video in the comments, but I chose not to. But when he came at me personally, I said, okay, this could be a growing problem. This could be an ongoing problem, and it will be addressed. And yes, by the way, this is the video I was talking about, Tree Life. So this is for you, and it is brought to you by Ragin AVC. Thank you very much. But here we go. Solutions. Just edit the post tag. C. Michael Lanning, art at 50 seconds. Very simple. That's all I was asking. That's all I was asking. Because, again, it highlights the fact that, yes, Continuum Comics as a whole is a book that I can be proud of, all right? I had a hand in pretty much every page except for Russ Leach's story. Okay. I have 2 stories in it. Nita's got a poem. C. Michael's got art in 2 of these stories. Mike Seeley has got art in 2 stories. I don't want anything bad to happen to this book. I want sales for this book. Why wouldn't I? Okay. But you give proper credit where it's due. And that's why I'm calling you out. Because the solution is you can either take down the video, and I didn't ask you to do that, or you can tag C. Michael Lanning. Because as a whole, it's a great book. And what you're doing for the community is great. We need more people promoting other creators. That's why we do this show. That's why Variant does his shows. There are so many people out there who are trying to highlight creators, their works, their crowdfunds. That's what we need. We need more of that. So I'm not trying to tear this guy down. I'm not.
No.
But do the right thing. And when somebody comes at you professionally with a little bit of advice, maybe you don't want to attack them personally.
Right.
Just maybe.
And Meredith, I got to disagree with you on one thing there. You said, well, I know you don't want it to take the video. The video should stay up. The video should stay up because it is a well-did video.
Mhm.
Is with it, other than him, C. Michael getting, not getting credited, it's a well-done video.
Yeah.
It's a well-done video.
I agree.
Oh, absolutely.
His voice is it's loud enough. It's not alarming. It reminds me of
The transitions are very nice.
And the same thing for Jeremy Kahn too, who did the colors on that. That colors
Yeah,
also stand
that's
out on
another
there too. So in all honesty, if we're going to tag me, you need to tag him too because he's part of the artistic expression.
And by not tagging it now, after you've been informed and educated on who the art actually belongs to, you are encouraging the theft of this IP, and you're allowing that theft to be taken of by Mike Seeley, who's supposed to be your friend.
what do we?
I mean, seriously.
Do we know if? Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Nita. I'm sorry.
No, that's it. Like, it is making it look like Mike Seeley is stealing C's IP.
Do we know that? Do we know how Mike feels about it? That we,
Mike made the post.
Mm-hmm.
He said he was humbled that they featured him, but he never made any statements as to highlight anybody else that was part of that book.
Okay. Well, maybe again, if Mike's watching, he could see that C feels disenfranchised. He feels that he's been left out the loop on credit that should have maybe been thrown his way.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And this is a fellow artist who would like to be credited. I think anybody want to be credited. At least, if you're going to show my work, credit me. I'm not saying if you, like if my work is here on the wall, like Nita, there's no need to tell every artist that Nita has on her back wall there. That's in the background of her,
right.
stuff. That's not.
But Varian, do you think that
I
is a
give
fair
full
solution?
credit to Daphne Lage.
But
not all that stuff. Just the top shelf is Daphne.
just the top shelf. No, but do you
And
feel
that
that is a fair
beast.
solution?
As somebody who owns again, there's a media site, and we got the radio and we got the TV. We're always hyper vigilant of credits. I've had someone reach out to me in the past on a movie and say, "Hey, 2 times now, someone changed their gender. They want to be named correctly, which meant that I had to go in the credits or the credits that we have listed and change their, to their now current name. And then the director went back into the movie, and kudos to the director. He went back into the movie and edited the credits to reflect that actor's they call it the dead name, to take out their dead name and put in their current name, which they go by, and that's that was fair. Now and I uploaded that the minute I got that information as well. But the first thing I did was I changed it on our personal credits. The second time was the radio. It was the radio. Someone had a musician demanded that they be credited, They were a featured singer on a song, and they demanded to be credited. And they didn't even contact me. I mean, not me. They didn't contact the artist. They contacted us directly and said, "Hey, I'm on that song. I'm in the backup vocals. I got the proof, and they sent proof. This is me. Please, could you add me as a featured artist?" And we did. We added them, and then I let the musician know, "Hey, I was made aware I had to add this person, so we have added them as a precaution. If there's any issues, let me know." And honestly, you know what happened? They wrote back and said, "I totally forgot, to add that person. So yeah, please, thank you." So yeah, it's important to add that stuff. And I think that if that's the solution you guys are looking for, it's definitely doable. I don't know why anyone wouldn't want to do it. As an artist that's featured, I would want it done. If I was a featured artist, I'd want, because too, what if I'm gonna play devil's advocate here for a second. What if what if C. Michael Lanning's art sucks? I mean, listen, what if it's so? What if we go the other way around? Exactly. Let's go the other way around this. What if his art, look, I do not want someone confusing my art and my abilities for someone like my kids. He's 10, he's getting better, bless his heart. But I don't want someone to be like, "Oh, that's what you do?" I don't want that. Right. So what if we're looking the other way? I gotta wonder about it. I gotta just throw that out there. What happens if the art was actually worse? And would you then say, "Oh, no, don't put that in there. That's crap"?
It'd have jumped all over that, because nobody wants to see the scribbled outside the lines, Crayola shit.
What I ask about this is, Tree Life feels that asking for credit is ego.
Yes.
But he's a fashion designer. He's got, his clothing line or whatever. If I were to show his clothing line and put Tommy Hilfiger over it, is he going to start having a problem with that?
Absolutely.
Probably.
Because
I would.
Because we are not, we are our business owner ourselves. Everything we do markets to the next job that we get. Everything we do advertises to the next thing. What we do now has to reflect, so somebody will hire us again. And on and on and on and on.
It's almost unique to this business, though.
Yeah,
I think that's really a kind of unique to comics. Like, your last work is your resume, kind of, and you have to.
For the artists especially, they're putting together a portfolio. Tree Life has said in the very beginning of his video that he is inspired by the art, that he wants that's what he wants to do. And
God help you, sir.
He will rue the day when somebody uses his stuff the way he doesn't want it, or not give him proper attribution. And it's, I don't want anybody to go through that. I really don't. And that's why I felt that it was important for me as the writer to approach him on behalf of my artist, because
I appreciate that.
I think, the voices sometimes are muted. A lot of times we don't like conflict. Trust and believe, I don't like naming names. I don't. It's not my style. However, this is a dangerous path, and this is video 1. Okay? Come out of the gate right. Fix it. I'm not saying fix the video. I'm saying put that little credit in there. It takes literally, you go on Facebook or wherever else you posted it, all right, and hit the edit button. Tag the artist who's in there. It's not hurting anybody else. It's not hurting the project or the book. It's not hurting Mike Seeley and anybody else. In fact, you would probably help grow your audience by doing that, because now you're tagging the people who are involved, and they have a broader reach. They have people that you might not be connected with. That's important. That is part of the networking process that we do. We strive for that, especially in media, especially social media, which moves so quickly. So that's all I'm asking, is make it right. Anybody else?
No, it's just it's extra depressing for me. Like it because this is C's first sequential art. His very first one, and this is his first fucking experience. It sucks. It fucking sucks.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
And that's really unfortunate.
I would say I can tell that. I mean, Anita reminds me a lot of Ross Kirby. She's like, I'm gonna look out for his art. That's bull, because it reminds me a lot of those artists.
Talking to Stan again.
Those artist wives. I'm telling you, man, I got a pit bull myself. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, she put a lot of work into getting that out there too,
and it goes to before we even entered the continuum. It goes before Terraform. It goes before that. It goes all the way back to the years of fucking art lessons where my husband would have to go in the room, shut the door, stay away from me and the kids so he could focus on his lessons. And we've made sacrifices too.
Mm-hmm.
So you're fucking right. I want him to get his fucking credit.
I just think,
and I will fight for him. And Luke, that's not what chess looks like, dude. That's Connect 4 with marbles.
I would say that, I remember someone writing before, and I've seen a lot of people in the community, thumbs up the post. It's the person said, when you are hiring an artist or hiring this particular artist for a job, and no matter how long it took them to do the piece, once it's done, pay me my money so I can move on. And you can't tell an artist, oh my goodness, you did that so quickly. You told me you were going to charge me $100, but you did it so quick that didn't take you any time. Here, I'll give you $50. And they said, well, you're not paying me for how long it took me to do the job. You're paying me for the time you didn't see it took me to get to that point.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And when you start thinking about that, it's like, that's why that credit's important. That's why it's important.
It's everything. It's everything. It's his first.
Yeah. And that's his first book. Yeah, that's why that credit's so important. I got my first book. I got the first book I created, hung up on the wall. I got the first book I drew, created, and all that hung up on the wall. And they're the first one out the stack. I'm not even sure if they're printed right inside, but they're the first one out the stack. They're in this shadow box frames on the wall, and that's where they'll stay until I close my eyes and my son sells them off to someone's dollar bins. That's for weed money. That's fine. But it's that first credit. And I apologize, Mike. Something like that happened to you. I see, Michael. I'm sorry. I apologize that happened. That's it's unfortunate you have to go through that, and hopefully it can be made right.
Yeah. I hope so. I mean, for me personally, it's like I can let bygones be bygones. I want to see more of what he does, but I now have a yellow flag, and I'm going to be watching a little more carefully because, again, the citation is so important, especially if you're breaking into the media aspect of it, especially if you are promoting other people. I mean, you look at what Nita and I do as far as our shows, right? When we invite people, we get our guests on, we blast their social media on there. Those backlinks are everything. Because it shows up on the SEO search engine optimization. It has the algorithms. It is, it matters. Because as you are building up your portfolio of credits, you're going to show up a little bit higher. You're going to rank higher on those searches. And you want to do it right. Come out of the gate doing it right. Learn the process. It's not about entitlement. It is about really doing it right.
Watch a few promotional shows. See how it's done. Watch freaking The Madness with Pops. Freaking CromCon. Come over here. Watch Ragin. Watch our interviews. Let's
watch. I mean, Indie got a whole bunch of shows. Sunday Funnies. With Randy Zimmerman. I mean, it's just
how it's done.
But again, though, because there are so many nuances. People think they know, but look, if anybody's interested in doing this, message me. I'll tell you the books to go get. There's like 8 of them that you should definitely have.
Absolutely
you don't have to, but I guarantee you, there's 8 books about me covering journalism, being a journalist, because I don't consider myself a journalist, but I've read these books and they give me a respect for journalism, true journalism, not that shit that you see on Taku. Sorry. Not
TV,
that.
just
Yeah,
TV.
yeah. Any that I'm talking about real journalism that we struggle to provide. And, here's what journalism is, guys. True journalism is to inform, not influence.
Yeah.
I'm here to inform you about what's going on, not to tell you this is the bad guy, this is the good girl.
Right.
That's not what we do. Here's the facts. Here's what we know. Take it and make your decision. Go argue and fight amongst yourselves. That's how we do. Now, if someone's clearly in the wrong, and I try to get a lot of people who write for Indie Vote to understand that. Some don't care, and that's their writing style. But if it goes too far, you veer back on the course. But when it comes to this journalism thing, when it comes to this media thing, I got books I can suggest that you read, and you gotta be careful too, because some of that stuff differs from country to country. What you can get away with in the Netherlands, you might be able to get away with here in the United States, or or Canada, or Russia, or Mexico. There's a couple different statutes and rules when it comes to media coverage that are different. I got books on it. You want to know what they are? Excuse me. Shoot me a DM. I would glad to share the names with you. You can go check them out. Amazon has a lot of them. Some of them. Be prepared to pay though. Some of those books are like $110. So.
You get a library card. Just hope they have it.
Yeah.
So I mean, there are solutions here, very easy ones. And I don't like controversy, but I think this is a very important topic that should be discussed. And when you see something that is clearly wrong or something that's questionable, ask questions. If you're being asked, maybe come at it with an open mind and take a look at it from another perspective. Okay.
Learn the lesson from it. Yeah.
And that's really all I'm asking. C. Michael Lanning, of course, I love your art. We've worked together, and I want to make sure that you get the credit that's deserved, because that will open doors for you.
Absolutely.
Varian, final words. We're almost at an hour.
Oh, and I was gonna say too, and don't, please, no one contact these people and start, berating them. That's not what I don't think Meredith wants, Nita wants.
No, not at all.
That's not what this is about. This is not what
we are
this is about.
not trying to stir a shit pot. We are trying to rectify a fucking bad situation.
Because what I think we have here is a situation where there may be some misinformed parties. I mean,
right,
who just don't know, lack of experience, go back and look at the first Indie Vote video. Go back and look at that train wreck. I had to learn. And people, are you going to learn all the time? There's stuff I did as an artist years ago that I won't do now. So yeah, this that type of stuff. And don't demonize any of these guys. Some of the, we talked about Mike Sealy. Not his, fault. He didn't make the video.
No.
He didn't make the video, so what do we do? We can, but
Yeah, no, I don't.
Yeah.
But it's giving him a bad name too. He really needs to go back and look at it, because his name being placed on top of C's art is not acceptable.
And he might not be familiar with the etiquette. He needs to familiarize himself with it. This is a business. You need to know how to navigate the business.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. However, if you're looking for any art from C. Michael Lanning, contact me, Varian Grant. I'll draw it just like him, I swear.
Yeah.
Goodwill just gone.
There it is.
Yeah.
Varian, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put your coupon code up here. Look at that. For a 10% discount on your Gemini mailers, use coupon code VOLT10. Thank you to
Varian owns Lola's Titties 10. What?
What? And I also want to thank the following networks that we are live streaming to. It is Geek Insider, Ragin AVC, Indie Volt Radio, Comics and More, New Jersey. Thank you very much. I hope that this has been more informative than controversial. Yes, I did name names. I think it's important because I'm going to keep an eye on it. and we'll let you know if
We
there's
still
any
we want to
progress.
see it. We want
We
to see
want to
it.
see progress, and we want to see tree life really move forward, because we do need more people who are out there promoting in a
Yes.
positive way. So this isn't a slight. I hope that this has been more educational. Okay. And sometimes it stings and it sucks when you're called to the carpet, but here we are. Um, on that note, you guys, anything else? Final words? Nothing?
Throw my
Rest my case.
dudes.
All right. Nita said, throw the dudes. We're out of here, you guys. Until tomorrow. We'll see you then.